Good morning, everybody. Today we will start a new lesson, My Last Dollar, which is written by Stephen Leacock. Let's begin with introduction. Stephen Leacock was a Canadian political economist, humorist, and short story writer. Actually, Stephen Leacock was a Canadian person. He was a political economist, humorist, and short story writer. He taught at McGill University, Montreal, and reflected on the various psychological issues related to the modern world in his work. Actually, he was what I mean to say, uh, he was teaching at McGill University. He taught at McGill University, and his works reflected on the various psychological issues, particularly to the modern world in his work. He began his career as a humorist with the publication of Literary Lapses in 1910. And Stephen Leacock started his career as a humorist, and he published his first work, Literary Lapses, in 1910. He was a humorist and he started his career as a humorist. He wrote 46 books, including nonsense novels, Sunshine Sketches of a Little Town, My Discovery of England, and 4 chapters of an unfinished autobiography. So, as far as his writing career is concerned, he wrote 46 books. In those 46 books, uh, nonsense novels, Sunshine Sketches of a Little Town, My Discovery of England, and 4 chapters of an unfinished autobiography. These were the novels which were included in 46 books. The Boy I Left Behind Me, published posthumously in 1946, and his work, The Boy I Left Behind Me, which was published posthumously in 1946. The Stephen Leacock Memorial Medal for Humor is presented every year for the best book of humor written by a Canadian. And on the name of Stephen Leacock Memorial Medal for Humor is presented every year for the best book of humor written by a Canadian. कॅनडामधल्या कोणत्याही लोकां म्हणजे दरवर्षी स्टीफन लिकॉक मेमोरियल मेडल फॉर ह्युमर हे मेडल प्रेझेंट करण्यात येते प्रत्येक वर्षी. जो कोणता लेखक ह्युमरवर लिखाण करेल, पर्टिक्युलरली कॅनेडियन, त्यांना तो अवॉर्ड देण्यात येतो. लिकॉक रोट a number of short stories based on everyday life. So he wrote number of short stories, various short stories based on everyday life. On one such story, My Lost Dollar, in a very amusing way. One such story, My Lost Dollar, in a very amusing way, reflects the author's anxiety about recovering a dollar that his friend owes him. And My Lost Dollar is an amazing story which reflects the author's anxiety about recovering a dollar that he has given to his friend. The manner in which he has described the traumatic experiences going on in his mind gives us insight into human psychology, and the way he has described the traumatic experiences in that lesson, it has gives us it has given us insight, or it gives us insight into human psychology, how human being behaves, how the psychology of human beings means he has described in this lesson. He narrates his experiences in a very simple, straightforward, and easily comprehensible manner. So his style of narration is very simple. So he simply narrated his experiences, he straightforwardly narrated his experiences, and we can easily comprehend the manner, we can easily comprehend the experiences or his stories which he written in his book. So let's begin our lesson. My friend Todd owes me $1. He has owed it to me for 12 months. Actually, a writer's friend Todd, who has taken $1 from the writer, and he has taken he has borrowed that dollar for 12 months, and I fear there is little prospect of his ever returning it. And in the very beginning of this lesson, writer said that means he fears uh, that there is little prospect of his ever returning it. म्हणजे माझा मित्र टॉड मला ते पैसे परत देईल याची मला थोडीशीही म्हणजे प्रॉस्पेक्ट म्हणजे संभाव्यता नाही किंवा शक्यता नाही, आशा नाही. I can realize whenever I meet him that he has forgotten that he owes me $1. And whenever writer met his friend at that time, means writer understood that his friend has forgotten that event, that dollar. But whenever writer met him, writer just wants to touch that issue of dollar with his friend. Writer wants to realize the issue of dollar to his friends. He meets me in the same frank, friendly way as always. And writer's friend used to meet him in the same manner, or we can say same frank and friendly manner. My dollar has clean gone out of his mind. And according to writer, means he told that his friend Todd has completely forgotten about that dollar. I see that I shall never get it back. And according to writer believes on one thing, that he has no hope. He has no hope to get that dollar back. म्हणजे लेखकांनी तर आशा सोडलेली असते की लेखकाचे पैसे परत मिळतील म्हणून. On the other hand, I know that I shall remember all my life that Todd owes me $1. आणि दुसऱ्या बाजूला लेखक असा विचार करतात की आय शॅल रिमेंबर ऑल माय लाईफ दॅट टॉड ऑज मी $1. म्हणजे टॉडनी माझ्याकडून $1 बॉरो केला होता हे मला नेहमी लक्षात राहील. इट विल मेक नो डिफरन्स, परंतु त्याचा काहीही फायदा होणार नाही किंवा काहीही फरक पडणार नाही. I trust to our friendship because according to the writer believes in friendship, but I shall never be able to forget it. Still the writer believes in friendship, but still he was unable to forget that issue. I don't know how it is with other people, but if any man borrows $1 from me, I carry the recollection of it to the grave. And writer said that I don't know how it is with other people, what will happen with other people, how other people think about their dollar, but according to the writer, means I will never forget when someone borrows $1 from me. I will carry the recollection of it to the grave. म्हणजे लेखकांना असं म्हणायचं असतं की मी मरेपर्यंत ही माझ्याकडून जर कोणी डॉलर उधार घेतला असेल तर त्या डॉलर बद्दल विसरणार नाही असं लेखकांना सांगायचं आहे. लेट मी रिलेट व्हॉट हॅपन. नाउ रायटर वॉन्ट्स टू टेल अस द होल एपिसोड ऑफ $1. Todd borrowed this dollar last year on the 8th of April, just as he was about to leave for Bermuda. Now writer is telling the entire episode of the borrowing dollar to us. Writer said that Todd borrowed this dollar last year on the 8th of April. So according to the writer, Todd borrowed $1 from the writer on 8th of April in the last year, just as he was about to leave for Bermuda. Actually, he was leaving for Bermuda. He was going to Bermuda, and at that time, writer's friend borrowed $1 from the writer. He needed $1 in change to pay his taxi. Actually, his friend needed $1 in the form of change to pay the taxi. म्हणजे लेखकाच्या मित्राला तो जो डॉलर हवा होता तो फक्त एक चेंज म्हणून, म्हणजे आपल्याला टॅक्सीला पैसे देता यावे म्हणून, चेंज म्हणून तो डॉलर लेखकाच्या मित्रांनी लेखकाकडून घेतला होता. अँड आय लेंट इट टू हिम. आणि लेखक सांगतात की मी सुद्धा तो डॉलर माझ्या मित्राला दिला होता. इट हॅपन्ड quite simply and naturally. So in this way, that incident took place quite naturally and quite simply. I hardly realized it till it was all over. And according to the writer hardly realized it till it was all over. म्हणजे लेखक त्यांना त्यांच्या मित्राला जाणीवच करून देऊ शकले नाही. ही मियरली सेड, लेट मी हॅव अ डॉलर, विल यू? अँड रायटर्स फ्रेंड सिम्पली आस्क हिम दॅट लेट मी हॅव अ डॉलर, विल यू? म्हणजे तुम्ही मला $1 उधार द्याल ना? अशा पद्धतीनं तो डॉलर लेखकाच्या मित्राने लेखकाकडून घेतला होता. अँड आय सेड सर्टेनली, अँड रायटर रिप्लाइड दॅट सर्टेनली आय विल गिव्ह यू, निश्चितपणे मी तुम्हाला तो देईल. Is a dollar enough? I believe. In fact, I know that when Todd took that dollar, he meant to pay for it. And writer additionally asked his friend that is a dollar enough? तुला $1 पुरेसा होईल का की मी तुला जास्त पैसे देऊ? I believe, in fact, I know that when Todd took that dollar, he meant to pay for it. And writer says that when Todd took that dollar, I simply thought that he will pay it back. म्हणजे जेव्हा टॉडनी तो डॉलर लेखकाकडून उधार घेतला होता तेव्हा लेखकांना असं वाटलं की टॉड त्यांचा डॉलर त्यांना परत देईल. ही सेंट मी अ नोट फ्रॉम हॅमिल्टन, बर्मुडा. इवन वेन रायटर्स फ्रेंड रीच्ड टू बर्मुडा at that time, he has sent a note from Hamilton, Bermuda to the writer. म्हणजे हॅमिल्टनला पोहोचल्यानंतर, बर्मुड्याला पोहोचल्यानंतर लेखकाच्या मित्रांनी एक नोट म्हणजे एक लेटर सुद्धा लेखकांना पाठवलं होतं. आय थॉट वेन आय ओपनड इट दॅट द डॉलर वुड बी इन इट, अँड वेन रायटर ओपन दॅट लेटर ॲट दॅट टाइम रायटर थॉट दॅट देअर वॉज अ डॉलर इन it, there would be a dollar in it, but it wasn't. परंतु तो डॉलर त्याच्यामध्ये नव्हता. He merely said that the temperature was up to nearly 100, and he merely mentioned in that letter about the temperature and atmosphere of the Bermuda country. The figure misled me for a moment, and whatever figure was there, that was misled to the author for a moment. Todd came back in 3 weeks. So Todd came back from Bermuda in 3 weeks. 3 आठवड्यामध्ये टॉड बर्मुड्यावरून परत आला होता. I met him at the train, not because of the dollar, but because I really esteem him. आता लेखक म्हणतात की he met him at the train, not because he has given a dollar to him, but because he was esteemed his friend. म्हणजे जेव्हा लेखकाचा मित्र बर्मुड्यावरून परत आला, लेखक त्या मित्राला रेल्वे स्टेशनवर भेटायला गेले. रेल्वे स्टेशनवर याच्यासाठी भेटायला नाही गेले की त्यांनी त्यांच्या मित्राला $1 उधार दिला होता म्हणून ते भेटायला गेले नाही, तर खऱ्या अर्थानं आय एस्टीम मीन्स आय ॲप्रिसिएट हिम, म्हणजे मला खरोखर आय लव्ह हिम, आय लाईक हिम, मला तो माझा मित्र आवडतो म्हणून मी माझ्या मित्राला भेटायला रेल्वे स्टेशनवर गेलो, असं लेखक सांगतात. आय फेल्ट it would be nice for him to see someone waiting for him on the platform after being away for 3 weeks. Writer simply went there so that his friend will feel quite good, or it would be very nice for him that someone is waiting for him when he will be back आफ्टर 3 weeks फ्रॉम बर्मुडा. म्हणजे आपल्या मित्राला चांगलं वाटावं की आपण फॉरेन वरून वापस येत आहे आणि कोणीतरी आपली वाट पाहायला प्लॅटफॉर्मवर आलं आहे, म्हणून लेखक तिथं प्लॅटफॉर्मवर लेखकाच्या मित्राला पिकअप करायला जातात किंवा रिसीव्ह करायला जातात. आय सेड लेट्स टेक अ टॅक्सी अप टू द क्लब, बट ही आन्सर्ड नो, लेट्स वॉक. सो रायटर वॉन्ट्स टू रिमाइंड हिम अबाउट अ डॉलर. For reminding that episode, writer said to his friend that let's take a taxi up to the club. आपण क्लब पर्यंत टॅक्सीनं जाऊया असं लेखक त्यांच्या मित्राला म्हणतात. But he answered no, let's walk. परंतु लेखकाचा मित्र लेखकांना उत्तर देतो की नाही, आपण पायी जाऊया. We spent the evening together talking about Bermuda, and on the same day both of them spent their evening together and they were talking about बर्मुडा. म्हणजे ती रात्र त्यांनी सोबतच संध्याकाळ त्यांनी सोबतच घालवली होती, म्हणजे सोबतच ते राहिले होते आणि सर्व चर्चा त्यांची बर्मुड्यावर म्हणजे बर्मुडा या देशावर होती की बर्मुडा या देशामधले लेखकांची मित्राचे दिवस नेमके कसे गेले, काय काय एन्जॉय केला, काय काय त्यांनी तिथं केलं, या सर्व गोष्टींवर चर्चा करण्यासाठी पूर्ण संध्याकाळ होईपर्यंत त्यांनी त्याच विषयावर चर्चा केली. I was thinking of the dollar, but of course I didn't refer to it. And at that time, when they when they talked about Bermuda, talked about the days which he spent at Bermuda. At that time, I was, according to writer was thinking of that dollar, but of course he didn't refer to it. लेखकांना तो डॉलर आठवत होता, परंतु त्यांनी त्या डॉलरचा रेफरन्सही दिला नाही किंवा त्यांची त्या डॉलरची आठवण सुद्धा लेखकांनी त्यांच्या मित्राला दिली नाही. वन सिम्पली कांट, अँड अ फ्रेंड कांट सिम्पली just recall those events, or one cannot just simply say that I have given you a dollar and you just give me that dollar back. म्हणजे अशा पद्धतीने कोणी आपल्या मित्राला म्हणू शकत नाही. I asked him what currency is used in Bermuda and whether the American dollar goes at par. So for giving a reference, writer asked him about the currency which is used in Bermuda, and even he also asked that whether the American dollar goes at par. म्हणजे अमेरिकन डॉलरचं तिथं बर्मुडामध्ये काय व्हॅल्यू आहे, काय नाही, बर्मुडाला कोणती करन्सी आहे, वगैरे वगैरे प्रश्न लेखक त्यांच्या मित्राला विचारतात. आय पुट अ स्लाइट एम्फॅसिस ऑन द अमेरिकन डॉलर. Even writer put a slight emphasis on American dollar, but found again that I could not bring myself to make any reference to it. लेखक अमेरिकन डॉलरवर एम्फॅसिस सुद्धा देतात, जोर सुद्धा देतात, but writer understood that means it doesn't make much difference, or it doesn't make any reference to it. म्हणजे त्यांनी काहीही फरक पडत नाही किंवा कुठलाही रेफरन्स दिला जात नाही असं लेखकांच्या लक्षात आलं. It took me some time to realize that he had completely forgotten the dollar. And writer further said that it took him some time to realize that his friend had completely forgotten the dollar. म्हणजे लेखक पुढे म्हणतात की मला आणखी काही दिवस लागले हे समजण्यासाठी की माझा मित्र त्या डॉलर बद्दल पूर्णपणे विसरून गेला आहे हे समजण्यासाठी मला आणखी काही दिवस लागले. So here I would like to stop. Rest of the lesson we will see tomorrow. Thank you very much for listening me patiently. Thank you.